Captain's log, stardate 152408.7. We have received a distress call from the 7th planet of the Zeta Gruis system, which has caused us to divert from our current assignment. We have now arrived in orbit, and Yennek is preparing an away team to beam down to the surface.
Okay, I can tell you a little bit about our present situation. We are about to land on the planet Zeta Gruis. The atmosphere is somewhat agreeable, but limited. It will cause problems with prolonged exposure. So we've received a distress call from a city in the southern polar region that we're here to investigate.
Would you like me to run a scan on the planet, Commander Yennek?
Yes, please.
Or we'll go over to one of the terminals. Our existing Starfleet records show that the planet was uninhabited the last time Starfleet did a survey. The previous civilization abandoned the planet thousands of years ago due to the environmental effects of the red giant nearby.
And still a distress call comes from that.
Strange.
I can't identify what could be causing it. There's no history of life forms there other than the ancient ones from long ago.
Who are presumably not sending a distress call?
Presumably, but I suppose you never know.
Supposition won't get us any further.
True.
Prepare ourselves for an away mission. And with that, Yennek asks the pilot to get us in a suitable orbit to see if we can either take a shuttlecraft or beam down to the planet's surface nearby where the distress signal is originating.
Beaming is possible.
Okay, well, if we've been told we need to prepare for an away mission, Kelle is going to go basically just get basic med kit. I suppose she doesn't have any specific ideas as to what we would be encountering. So, sort of the standard, then.
And given that this is supposed to have been an abandoned planet, very puzzling that a distress call has been activated. So we have no idea what we might face. Is it just the three of us going down to the planet's surface, Captain?
That is correct, Mr. Yennek.
Aura is prepared to go.
Prepare ourselves as you would for any kind of an away mission on a habitable planet and make our way to the transporter room.
And it is nice and bright and shiny and very clean. And Ensign Hall is on duty.
Aura, was there anything else you were able to determine from your scan?
Planet itself seems to be fairly dead. The nearby red star is, well, not very hospitable for life.
The star, I should imagine not.
Star's effect on the planet, of course.
That seems rather sad.
It happens a lot. Stars get old. But what doesn't happen a lot is people surviving on these planets around for long periods of time. I suggest we hurry.
And Kelle's ready to beam down.
Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of. Every human being who ever was lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there. on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Imagination will often carry us to worlds that never were, but without it we go nowhere. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. These are the voyages of the USS Pegasus.
The party shimmers into existence on the planet's surface. The city around you has effectively gone. Many remains a little more than rubble, yet there remains the odd wall or corner. The highest is 4 stories in height, and the orange-brown composite has somewhat survived the test of time. The odd piece of glass remains in a wall, or can be found lying on the ground, and a very hot, sad wind moves in the ruins, and the light is dim with a strong shade of orange.
Cora will pull out his tricorder and run a scan to see what direction the distress signal is coming from.
How many
This
successes?
is
3, he said.
3.
You can have a momentum.
Okay.
It's hard to determine exactly where the distress signal is coming from. I am picking up some biosigns, however. They are sort of fading in and out. I'm also detecting kelbonite in some of the structures, which is blocking my scans.
Helbanite. Well,
Curious. Why would that be?
I do not know. Should we begin searching?
There's definitely some life here. That I am certain of.
Can you narrow your search for tachyon readings?
Tachyons. I can, yeah. That is another 3 successes.
Nice.
And 1 more momentum.
Sorry, Commander, there's no tachyons to be found anywhere in this area. You were suspicious of something?
I was suspicious of time manipulation, which we seem to have been repeatedly experiencing in recent weeks or months. And usually tachyon particles are an indication of some kind of a rupture in the space-time continuum.
There is nothing like that here, at least Yeah, no tachyons at least.
Fair enough. It's just an idle thought. It's a possibility we can scratch off our list as we continue to ascertain what's going on exactly.
Hmm.
Can we take a look at the rubble? Like, does it look like a place that's been abandoned for thousands of years?
Yeah, at least 2,000.
Okay.
The amount of rubble suggests the buildings may well have been several stories tall.
Hmm.
Metal has mostly rusted away. There is very little that remains of the former people that lived here. Nothing organically, anyway, that you can see. The odd ceramic. And you can see the casings of a few machines, though they have been terribly rusted and deteriorated over time. Essentially now, husks is all that remains.
Keep in mind, I did read some biosigns. There is definitely life here that shouldn't be.
Is it not possible that others came to the planet, whether to study any sign of the civilization that was once here or for some other reason? They could have run into distress.
They could have. Takes a little bit of the immediate urgency out of it in that regard, at least. We should find out what the biological signs are for, though.
Yes.
Everything is telling me that there should not be any biosigns on this planet. It's too close to the star. But the fact that there is means that something is here, not native to the planet, and it's very likely going to die soon.
Do you have any idea of where to begin searching?
I think the biosigns are somewhere in these ruins. I believe if we walk around and keep scanning, it might become clearer.
Very well. Commander?
Let's proceed.
All right. Kelle will pull out her tricorder as well, although it is more medical focused. I believe we established it can also just do basic scans. And she's going to also begin scanning while walking around the ruins.
You also notice that a lot of the designs of the city blocks appear to be triangular rather than square like many of ours sort of are.
Okay.
That may not necessarily be important. It's just instead of square city blocks, they seem to be designed around triangles.
And Kelle has stopped to listen for any further sounds after hearing the rocks falling.
Just the sound of the wind. But catch something out of the corner of your eye. Something familiar. Something unexpected.
And she sort of whirls around and is staring at a slightly larger pile of rubble off to one side with a very confused look on her face.
And when you are actively looking at the rubble, it appears to be exactly rubble.
Hmm.
Doctor? Is everything okay?
Yes, I thought I saw something, but it's nothing. I think maybe a piece of the rubble fell down and the movement caught my attention. She seems a little bit unsettled, but there is clearly nothing there, so.
And Yennek hears something, a whisper from his past. Something he's familiar with, but very clear. Clear enough that he's sure he heard it. But if he looks, there's nothing there.
Turn his head and say, Captain. And then he kind of catches himself.
Commander?
He turns to look at the doctor and he looks confused for a couple seconds, but quickly tries to regain composure. It's nothing. I thought I heard a voice that I knew, but it cannot be. Clearly, something is interfering with our cognitive processes. And then kind of tries to refocus on the task at hand. Goes back to reading the tricorder scans.
Aura,
Yes?
Since we arrived on this planet, have you experienced anything odd?
No? Just you calling me over?
And that is odd?
I thought we were going to stay apart a bit to get a wider range of scans. What is it?
I simply had a question.
Have you noticed anything weird?
I am not sure. If you have any odd experiences, please inform me. I am concerned about. Your scans did not turn up anything odd about the atmosphere, anything that would interfere with cognitive. Well, anything?
No, but I would like to report a weird experience.
Yes?
This one.
I see.
Or we'll
Alright,
walk back across the
then.
street.
And as he's walking back across the street, he has a weird experience.
Serves him right.
Aura jumps back and points his tricorder at something that he thinks is there. When he lowers it, he can't see it anymore. Andorians!
No.
This planet, the life signs, it's Andorian.
Aura, I don't think that it is.
I just saw one. He must be around here somewhere.
And I saw something that could not be here, and the commander heard someone who could not be here.
Okay, but Andorians could be here. They could have been running cargo or something and crash landed, and they need our help. He's crawling along the ground. He looked very injured. I didn't see any wounds, but
Aura, we will find whoever is here and in need of assistance, but at this point I would caution against believing your senses on this planet.
Aura thinks for a moment and looks at his tricorder. Aura looks away from the tricorder. Maybe you're right. I didn't get any information that says that there was a life form in front of me, but it did just seem to disappear.
Something is... I do not know if it is wrong. I do not know what is normal for this planet, but something is interfering with our perception, or so it seems to me.
And Yennek pipes up and just reminds everybody, steel yourselves and focus on the task at hand.
Cal will nod and continue searching for signs of life.
A big metal door, about 8 foot by 5 foot, and it seems reasonably new. It is built into the side of a building that leads into something, like another larger building.
I think I found something over here. Commander, have a look at this.
Motion to the doctor to come over this way as well,
Alright, she will.
and we'll go take a look at it.
A big metal door. Not rusted, however, like much of the surroundings. It does seem unusual for the rest of your surroundings.
It seems very well maintained. Somehow.
Perhaps this planet is not as uninhabited as we originally thought.
So the door is there. The door is attached to structure
wall.
that looks
Yep.
like it's fallen
Wall.
apart, though.
Not as much as you would have expected.
That is 3 success.
You get 2 momentum.
Excellent.
Nice.
This door is made of the same material as the walls in this place. Although the entire thing, it's not some sort of composite or trace materials. The entire door is made of kelbonite.
I wonder why. If Kelbonite can interfere with scans, Does that mean whoever put the door here didn't want someone to be able to tell what was on the other side?
Possible, but given that the walls are also made of this material, I would gather that it is probably just abundant on this planet, and it is a convenient building tool.
But this is the only thing we've seen entirely made out of it.
Perhaps the inhabitants did not know how to create some sort of stable alloy of it, or it all rusted away.
Except this one.
I think this one is much more recent than 2,000 years old, don't you?
I am unsure what to think.
Communicate back to the ship that we are entering a structure that has a door made of kelvinite, so that might interfere with our transporters.
Acknowledged. Awaiting. The door opens.
Ah.
That was easier than expected. Andorra will.
You are not on the planet, and you don't remember what it was you were doing. You do remember what it is you're seeing now.
Steps through the doorway to the hospital and is hit with a smell of bodies that have been left to rot, piled high in the hallways, pushed to one side, are the bodies of fallen Andorians. He can hear coughing from some of the rooms nearby, and he runs forward to reach them. He gets to the bedside of an Andorian struggling to breathe. He grasps the Andorian's hand in his. It'll be okay. We'll find a cure. Don't worry. You can make it out of this. And the Andorian is gone. Dead, but not disappeared.
I'm not going to tell you what to spend your determination on, but I would spend it,
Yeah,
everyone,
I think-
at least somewhere in the adventure.
Yeah, I think needing 4 success, this is a good moment to use it. Cautious, science. I'm able to see that this might not be a real thing that's happening.
Okay, so a determination gives you a success of 2.
Okay, and I will spend... As the Andorian dies, Aura lets go of hears more coughs being racked in another room. He gets up and less quickly goes over to the other room, and he can get into the room. He sees Kelle standing there. He doesn't seem to recognize who she is, but he knows that they're not Andorian. They don't look sick, and they're not wearing a mask. Who are you? You shouldn't be here without a mask. It's not safe.
Kelle hears nothing. Not from Aura. So at this point, your event has happened. You do not see Aura, however.
No. Kelle does not see Aura. She is, however, staring in confusion at something in front of her, and what Kelle is seeing... Kelle is staring down at a figure on a bed, but not the same figure that Aura was looking at. This is not an Andorian. In fact, this is not any species or creature that Kelle is at all familiar with. And that is not unique to her. Everyone else in this room is also staring at a being that they do not recognize and do not understand. And there is panic, not because anyone is afraid of this being, but because while nobody is entirely sure what it is or how it got here, what they are sure of is that it is dying. And this is a sickbay, and it is not the sickbay that Kelle would normally find herself in. Not these days, anyway, but it is a place she used to spend a great deal of time. And she is shoved out of the way as somebody who seems a lot more knowledgeable and a lot more in charge, finds that she is getting in the way with her shocked staring, and people are rushing around in the background, desperately trying to save the life of something that they have never encountered anything quite like before. And there is a feeling of confusion and excitement in a way, because this is a discovery, but it is a discovery that is fading in front of everyone who is desperately trying to save its life. And at this point, I think she's going to make a roll.
You need 4 as well.
I'll use my determination, I guess, as well, because we never remember to use that and might as well. And one, I'll copy Chris. I'll do 1 momentum. So 2 success to start with, and I'm rolling 3 dice. Yeah, well, it does and it doesn't. That's 2 successes, but that's also a complication.
You succeed, so the same thing happens for Kelle. Something about this reality doesn't feel right.
Kelle, who's been frantically looking around the sickbay for something to do, which is difficult because she is a trainee. She's basically shadowing people in this sickbay. This is not her area of expertise, really, at all. Scans around the room and sees 2 people who also look at a loss, and they seem as out of place as she feels, but for a different reason. And she can't remember ever having seen them on this ship before. And something is very, very strange about this, but there's a bit of a crisis going on, so it's not really the time to worry about whether or not they should be here. And she turns her attention back to the creature that is dying before her eyes.
Yes, sir, I will step forward. So why don't we say then that Yennek in the Starfleet Command Training Center, running through the, maybe let's say it's running through the Kobayashi Maru exercise, and he's having a difficult time putting his memories of the troubles that we faced aboard the Normandy as he's going through that, and so he's keeps having flashes. So it's flashbacks within a flashback. He's incepted himself, and it's he's having difficulty understanding that it's the no-win situation, because he's thinking his logic should override, should override the potential of a no-win situation. And he just can't seem to wrap his head around the purpose of this test being to push you to the break point. All right, so I will follow suit with the others. I've got Kolinar, which is that's the thought that the logic overrides everything. That's the meditation practice that they use.
And you're going to use the momentum as well?
Yes. Or would it be control and command? I think control and command would be both applicable, right? No, look at that. 3 successes.
Very nice.
And one of them I can tie to a focus. Well, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess for that matter, then we can say that I'm seeing Aura and Kelle on the bridge, and I know that's when I went through this training, they were not there.
Look, just get out of my way. I don't have time for this, Kelle. Kelle? How do I know that name?
She's not looking at you.
My head. Aura will push past her and go to the hospital bed and he sees another Andorian there. It's an Andorian child that is suffering from the plague. He crouches down next to the child. You'll be okay. They're working on a cure, and I think they've almost found it. Just hang on a little bit longer. What? Something about this just... I will use the momentum, and hopefully... Aha! 3 success. I've not generated more, though.
And Kelle's a little confused when this person she still doesn't recognize has pushed past her, because it feels... It wasn't a hard push. He didn't shove her. He just brushed by. But something about it feels stronger than the other people that have been trying to push her out of the way. It was more shocking in a sense, which doesn't make any sense at all. And she turns to look, and she still does not recognize this person, and she will say, excuse me, sorry, I'm not trying to be in the way, but do you know what I'm supposed to be doing right now?
Kelle, that name... She was on the ship with me. We served together, but...
And she's not getting any answer from this person, so she's sort of desperately looking around this sickbay to see if there's anyone else who looks as confused as her that she can ask, or if everyone else just seemingly somehow knows what to do, which is very much what she's feeling. She's feeling out of her element, like she is not able to help in any way, and it is very distressing, both the lack of knowledge and the feeling useless in a way. But she turns back to look at the Andorian, who is very odd for some reason, and she will roll, and there's no momentum left, so let's just hope for the best. Need a 3? Yeah, that's 2 success. Because it's not under my discipline. So if I am to succeed, I will need to do so with complication. And the complication is she is just so confused, but she's starting to realize that this confusion is not just the confusion of being new and still being trained and not having the knowledge that comes with experience and having served for a while. But part of the confusion is because this is not right somehow. It's not what it's supposed to be, but she doesn't know what about it is wrong. She doesn't quite have the same sense as Aura that this is a vision of some kind, but she knows whatever is happening is very wrong.
Yeah, facing the Kobayashi Maru, he's seeing both Kelle and Aura on the bridge, and that has spooked him a little. And as more and more Romulan ships enter into the fray, that he finds himself winning the Kobayashi Maru. It seems like every move, every command decision is the exact right one, and he's mopping the floor with these Romulan cruisers. It's troubling for the logical part of his mind.
So, at the end of your scene, Chris, you need 2 successes.
You were here, Kelle, but you were in a protective suit, and so was I. Yennek and... they were all here. We were gathering information about what started this plague. But there was no child that we saw. And the bodies, there weren't this many. I mean, there were a lot, but it was in the past. That wasn't now. What is now? What were we doing? We were on an away mission, but
Very confused because she's not entirely recognizing this person that is saying her name and is saying she's on Andoria, because she knows something's wrong about where she is, but it is most definitely not Andoria. Either way, what she's seeing or what she should be seeing, Andoria does not enter into it. And she looks at Aura, who was talking to her, and says, "Who are you? What? What? What do you mean an away mission?" And she's trying to remember if she's ever seen him before, and she is starting to feel like maybe she has, but she can't think of when or where, and she shouldn't have, because... And it's a very confusing experience, and she's gonna roll some dice.
I'm Aura. You're the science officer aboard the Pegasus. You're the doctor on the Pegasus.
I'm not a doctor. I'm still... I haven't graduated yet.
What are you talking about? You were just here. You were solving the plague.
What?
Coming up with an antivirus. A vaccine. That's what those are called.
I haven't done anything like that. The Pegasus?
Yeah. And there's Commander Yennek. And there's the captain.
I don't know. 5 for the assist die. That gets me 2 successes. Is that what I need at this point? Your Aura. You said that, but I might remember. I don't know what you're talking about, Andoria. This is... Well, I don't really know anymore. This isn't what I thought it was.
I think we were... I think we were on a planet and something happened. I can't quite remember, but
Yeah. Yes.
this is from a long time ago.
This is from a very long time ago. And Kelle's looking around because she has the feeling that there's another person. And she will see Yennek. What's he up to?
Yennek is still struggling to come to terms with what's going on here. He realizes that he's always realized that he's taking the Kobayashi Maru, but he's somehow he's succeeding, and his logical mind has told him that this is the test that you shouldn't be able to succeed in. So something is drastically going wrong, and his mind is reeling at the possibilities of that. The Romulans begin to turn away, like kind of in retreat, almost, and it's really throwing him for a loop.
Yeah, she will definitely try and assist. She's gonna say, "Yes, we were here, and the Commander Yennek, we need to snap out of it. Whatever you are seeing, it's not right."
Wow. And so that's 4. Nice.
He's
No,
great.
sorry. No, it's not 4.
Oh.
Sorry. It is only 3.
He's still
Okay.
fine.
You get 1 momentum, and you succeed.
This isn't real. None of this is real. It was in the past, but it's not now. Gotta my head. Gotta snap out of it.
It's... What was the last thing before everything became so strange? We were walking through a door?
The door, right. The door was made of some mineral that blocks.
Kelbonite. That's what you said it was. You did. You said that. That was half an hour ago. Commander, are you all right?
He will just answer, yes, I am, Doctor. Thank you. I was a little out of sorts for a moment, but I seem to have recovered my faculties.
Should we leave?
Is there anything else in this room that we
It
can
is
see?
a large room with a open doorway on the far side.
So perhaps we should continue to explore this area.
I think. Careful and make sure that we don't fall prey to any more visions.
Yes, I advise caution. There is clearly something about this place that is able to play tricks on the mind. However, as you said earlier, Aura, whoever may be the source of signs of life, they may not have long.
Dora will walk towards the open door on the far end of the room.
Okay, Kel's following.
Yennek is kind of moving with the group, but also kind of like trying to keep an eye out for anything. So he's kind of actively looking around.
You come outside and you see a small trench about 1 meter deep and about 25 meters wide, and it has been cut through the street and ends in a collapsed building where a ship has hit it.
That looks like a Ferengi ship.
Yes. If they crashed here, do you think they had the same sort of strange experience?
It is quite possible, although they might also be responsible for the visions that we dealt with. There's only one way to be sure. We must find them.
Yes.
He'll pull out his tricorder and scan for life signs around the ship. That is 2 success.
Okay.
You do not detect any, but you get a momentum.
All right.
I'm not detecting any life signs, Commander. We may be too late.
Okay, well, let's look for a means of ingress to the ship then.
It's a ship, so there is bound to be one.
I would suggest we take a look aboard the ship and see if we can find any potential survivors. We have no way of knowing when this ship crashed here. No immediate way of discerning how long it's been here.
All right, let's go aboard. Commander, do you want to go first?
So there is a gaping hole in the side which you can gain entry through.
All right, we'll do that.
And it's probably about 100 meters long. So it's a reasonable size.
to the bridge. Information that will, the effective black book for this thing, or black box. For
Box.
this thing.
Yeah.
Black book. Good God.
So on the way between the... this is basically... appears to be like a yacht. And it appears to have had guests. And you haven't searched the whole ship, only from where you are to the bridge. And you find in that section a total of 10 dead that have decomposed.
Okay. So that leads us to think they've been here for a while. Doctor?
That'll be 2 success. Commander, to the best that I can tell, everybody here died because of the impact of the crash. What seems very odd to me is that I would say they've probably been here about 15 years.
Okay. Sorry. Curious. Lieutenant Aura, can you tell us if this is the origin of the distress beacon?
Let me check the console. If it's still intact,
It is. You can give me an engineering roll.
that is 1 success. There is power going somewhere in the ship, but I can't tell where. It's all concentrated in one place. It very well could be the distress beacon, but it could also be perhaps the pleasure chambers, that could be malfunctioning and that created this illusion for us.
How would that happen?
Well, I don't know too much about the Ferengi pleasure barges, but if I had to guess, they figure out your wildest desires and grant you, similar to a holodeck. They show them to you in vivid, lifelike form.
But that is not...
If there was a crash that changed the programming a bit to make it so that they show you your worst moments or something you don't want to visit, that could happen, in theory.
I see.
Then I would suggest let us head to the engineering section of the ship. Maybe we can sort out what system is being powered through the power draw that should be represented on their systems.
And you enter engineering. You have to force the door. And you can see sitting in there on a stand is a glowing orb that is pulsating with power.
Have we ever seen anything like it before? Does it look like a reactor?
Nope, definitely not a reactor.
Does it react to our entering the room?
It does not. It is pulsating, but other than that, it hasn't quickened its pulses or anything.
I'm sorry, Commander. I've never seen anything like this.
I don't know what it is either.
Okay. Yennek will try to walk up closer to it.
Okay, and I'll pull out my tricorder and attempt to scan the pulsating orb. That is 3 success.
Nice.
And does this involve physics or quantum mechanics?
Physics.
4 success.
Ooh.
Don't know exactly what this is, but It's giving off strange energy waves, almost like a heartbeat.
That is odd.
It seems fairly crudely constructed, but appears to have been modified. Whatever's powering it, though, it's not Ferengi.
Okay.
It's Romulan. It's the only thing that's being powered by the Romulan power source.
That is very strange. Can you tell at all how long it has been here?
I can't. Assuming it would be after the ship crashed, but I don't know.
Okay, Kel's gonna have a look at the readings as well. Kel, who's been looking at it, says, Aura, you said you thought it was similar to a heartbeat. It's more like brain wave. The patterns, the waveforms, it's... I think this could affect memories or affect the senses in a bit of a crude way, but still.
Is it mimicking our brainwaves?
It is not connected to us specifically, no.
So we should turn this off, right?
Commander?
Yes, before we disconnect this, 2 successes. And actually, sorry, 3 successes, because I've got a 5 in science. Looking through the logs, Yennek, you see him thinking for a minute, and he lifts his head and turns to Kelle and Aura and says, This ship is called the Happy Prophet. It's been missing for approximately 16 years. There was a distress call that did come from here. However, it's not on now.
So not what we responded to?
Well, if it did come from here, then the orb was not working. But clearly, the orb is on now. This planet, Lieutenant Thatcher might have been correct when he said this planet is not as uninhabited, or may not be as uninhabited as it appears to be. And with that, he draws his phaser.
Or we'll do the same and look around, surprised.
Kel will rather reluctantly draw hers as well.
And I would suggest we head back to engineering, but very carefully, or warily, I suppose.
What's going on, Commander?
This might be a trap, but then the question becomes, set by whom?
I mean, it's a Romulan power source. That would be my first guess.
Precisely.
Quickly and carefully, then?
Yes, indeed.
Alright, Kel will follow.
And we make our way back down to the engineering bay.
Alright. Let's see if this works. Aura will unplug the big glowing orb. Aura approaches a terminal and presses a few buttons and cuts power to the orb.
And you see its light fades.
Okay, we're on the Pegasus.
Paul seems relieved that he has 3 people.
Was that in question?
He just seems always happy when the right amount of people come through.
You beamed us back quite quickly. Is there a problem?
I was ordered to, sir.
If there was a surge of power.
Yeah, I said if there was a power surge or if we contact you.
The bridge told me to bring you back?
Are you aware of why?
No, sir.
We'd best go find out ourselves then.
Let's go to see the captain.
Thank you.
We'll try to explain to the captain what we saw and why we were a little bit anxious to get out of there.
And when you walk onto the bridge, you can see the main viewport is looking at a section of the planet, and there is a glowing section of it in the southern polar region, which looks familiar to a exploded warp core.
Oh,
What happened?
There was a power surge. We didn't know what it was, so prudence was return you to the ship.
And do we know now what it was?
Their warp core breached. Although I would say it wasn't an accident.
I see.
still 15 years for a trap to go off? This was set some time ago. Well, presumably anyway. The ship had been missing for 16 years.
The ship had, but someone could have come and placed a trap later on. We did not quite find the answers we were looking for, I do not believe.
The Voyages of the USS Pegasus utilizes the excellent official rules Star Trek Adventures released by Mephidius Games. Featuring Emily as Lieutenant Kelle, Shadow as Lieutenant Aura, Raveninsane as Commander Hunt, Ken as Commander Yennek, and Ghost as the GM. Many of the sounds come from Syrinscape, an excellent app for bringing more life to your gaming table. You can find us at critfail.com.